Hi everyone, it's Meredith with Soulnavigation and welcome to my new moon video. The new moon is March 24th, 2020, and I'm also going to give you your absolute most important dates for the month of March. You need to know about these dates. This is one of the most critical months possibly in your life. This year of 2020, I've already talked about how absolutely difficult it's going to be. If you did not watch my video that I did in December, January, and it's called Cataclysmic Changes, it's basically like how your life may never be the same again. I really recommend you go and watch that. I put a ton of work into it, and I had really no idea that I was talking about something that would show up like the coronavirus, but I'm not surprised because I talked all about it without talking about it. But the month of March is going to be really pretty rough. And at the end, I'm going to give you 10 tips in how to make this month better. I want you to also brace for April. I'm going to do my next video on the Saturn transits. And the Saturn transits really give us giant clues and news about what this is going to look like for the whole rest of the year. And I want to be really honest with you. This change that we're going through collectively is really deeply enmeshed and embedded in that South Node Saturn Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. And I've been talking a lot about it. If you go back and watch all my transit videos in the last 3 months. And also, I think I posted a video around January 10th, 11th, or 12th on Instagram. I talk a lot about it there. If you haven't subscribed to me on Instagram, I really recommend you do, because I do juicy little tidbits every day, or every week, maybe I should say. But I want to dive into this because March is going to give you a ton of energy, and I want you best to prepare for it, okay? My name is Meredith with Soulnavigation. You can scroll down to the notes section and read all about me. I'm an evolutionary astrologer. That means I'm not a Vedic astrologer. I am a Western astrologer, and I believe in the karma and the fate of the nodes, the nodal axis. You can read more about me, how to book an appointment, and how to get a report if you want to know exactly where all of this is affecting you. But I'm going to give you a new take on this new moon in Aries, and I'm also going to give you a new take on these transits in March. So let's start right now. What is this new moon coming up asking of you? And I definitely recommend that you do your new moon ritual on the 24th, on the night of the 24th, and you put out your healing crystals. I recommend that you get amethyst for your crystal, and a clear quartz and a rose quartz to help you heal. Any healing crystals. And if you want to put a comment below in what crystal you think works best for the actual healing agents, gosh, I would recommend you do that. And I know my other listeners would love it. And if you don't know how to do the new moon ritual, I explain it in my new moon ritual video. So this new moon is, what is it asking of you? What is it asking of all of us? This new moon is asking for you to be a warrior right now, in truth. This new moon in Aries is just so powerful. I want to see if I can show it to you from my phone. It's not going to be great, but at least it's something. The new moon is going to sit at that 4 degrees right there. Do you see it? So you've got the sun and the moon, and look at this. You've got Chiron. And it sits right there with Chiron at 5 degrees. Chiron at 5 degrees, and the new moon, and the sun in Aries at 4 degrees. So what is this saying? Collectively, Chiron is the wound. Collectively, this is saying that we are looking at healing our wound. Chiron is the wounded healer. So this is our collective wound that needs to be healed. And it is a new wound because it is a new moon. We have never had this wound before. Chiron is asking us to step into the healing agent. Now, we're in the middle of this pandemic. There's a crumbling of society, government, people, humans, life. And those of us who it hasn't taken us away from the earth plane need to step into the healing warrior agent that is being sort of summoned or called up. So with the moon there, We're talking, what kind of healing agent are we talking about? Love, intuition, kindness, nurturing others, compassion, love, love, love. So this is a warrior love that heals us and brings us a new life force, the sun, energy, and we need to be the compassionate warriors right now, especially for those in need. You're going to feel like you are staring down the barrel of a gun or staring down a very bleak path. But I want you to change that feeling. And on that new moon, especially if you step into the new moon ritual, you can change that vibration and you can rise above it and see the beauty and the kindness that does actually exist around you. It does. You might have to look a little harder for it, but it does. And I want you to be one of those compassionate warriors that helps the world heal. This is also a time where you and others will no longer be able to put your head in the sand because it's Aries. So Aries charges in head first. And so by this time, by March 24th, you will glaringly see what your struggles and what our collective struggles will be, yet you won't quite have the answers on how to fix yours, theirs, or ours yet. I'm going to give you some ideas, so stick with me. I'm going to give you 10 tips at the end of this video on how you can rise above the negativity and what you can actually do with this energy to make it a healing agent for you and your family. And we have to take care of the body, we have to take care of the heart, we have to take care of the mind, and we have to take care of the soul. So I'm going to give you 10 quick tips. You know, Aries does not love being cooped up. Aries loves doing things. It's got robust energy. It's got rocket fuel for, its life force energy. And it wants to move. It wants to get up and go. So you're going to take that energy in the confines of your own home, if you're stuck there or wherever you're at, and you're going to use this energy to benefit yourself, your family, and your loved ones, whoever you're with. Sorry, I'm itchy. I'm not supposed to be touching my face, right? But I have my hair in my eyes. Let's go back a little bit, okay? Because I want to give you these important dates now. So on March 9th, I know it's already happened, but through the 21st, Saturn is at that 29th degree, and it just sits there forever, it feels like, the 9th through the 21st. By the time you watch this, it's probably around the 14th, 15th, or 16th. So you have a couple more days. If not, go back in hindsight and look at what happened between March 9th and the 21st. Because when Saturn sits at that 29th degree, if you know my work, you know that I do not love the 29th degree. It is the dark degree. It is, there's only 2959 per sign, right? After the 29th degree, it changes signs. So it's in the last breath. It's in the last minute or moment of that energy. It's dying out, but it is in crisis and it is dark. And the 29th degree is like walking across hot coals. After you walk across hot coals, wow, how liberated you are. You feel like you just championed something amazing. You feel like a new birth about you, deeper character or more will or more power or more strength. It was scary as hell walking across those hot coals, right? That's the 29th degree. So Saturn, the planet of great lessons, karma, oppression, suppression, repression, hard work, fortitude, sort of this like solid feeling of wanting to build something, but you have to sort of grit your teeth to do it. It's not easy. It is just sitting there at that 29th degree. Get ready to feel sort of this darkness, this pessimism, this like you're in a tunnel and you're at the end of the tunnel, but yet you don't see the light yet. There's no light. Hey, wait a minute. There's supposed to be light at the end of this gosh darn tunnel. Doesn't everybody always say, oh, there's light at the end of the tunnel? Yeah, where is it? Gosh darn it. Yeah, It's not here. So that's what this kind of feels like. So I want you to know it's going to pass. But Saturn goes back to that 29th degree a lot. It goes back 3 times. And that's going to be my next video. You're not going to want to miss that because that goes all the way until December. So it retrogrades back to that 29th degree. And I'm going to talk about that. And that's going to be my next video because I want you to be prepared. I feel like power is knowledge. So this isn't meant to scare you or be mean or, just be a doomsday person, because I'm really not. I'm actually a very optimistic person. But I think it's because I feel sometimes like I am not afraid to look. I'm not afraid to go in and really look at the energy so I can do something positive with it. I want to talk to you about St. Patrick's Day. Now, it has nothing to do with St. Patrick, but I just remember it because it's March 17th. So on March 17th, 2020, we have Mars conjuncting the moon. And then we have it in a little wider conjunction to Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. And so this is a really emotional day. Look at all that energy, all that. It's crazy. So we've got Mars and the moon and Pallas Athena and Jupiter and Pluto and Saturn and the South Node all in Capricorn. But Mars and the moon are in conjunction, but Mars is also in conjunction. It means they're in the same exact place as Jupiter. But on the 17th, I want you to know that because the moon is there, it makes it a really emotional day. So I pray something good happens for you, but you might not even feel like you can handle the news, and also this can take place 3 days before and 3 days after the 17th. So think about that. And I want you to put into your heart that, remember, other people are suffering probably worse than you. There are people out there that have it worse than you. And this day is very sentimental to me because this is the day that my dad passed away. So March 17th is always hard. And then when I saw those transits on that day, I was just like, ay, 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 ay. So I am going to do something really, really wonderful that day. I am going to do something with great intention to honor him and to maybe have a green beer and I'm not Irish, but excuse to drink green beer. And I'm going to do something lovely because I want to raise my vibration up for that day. I want to usher in and bring in better feelings than if I just leave it automatically, up to the world to dictate for me. So we already talked about March 24th. We already talked about how that's the collective wound that we are here to heal. And I want you to put your healing crystals out, and I want you to meditate, and I want you to ask the universe for something that you want to manifest, maybe pure health. Maybe you want to ask for your loved ones to be in perfect health during this coronavirus outbreak. And I think this is going to be a long haul. This isn't going away in March. I'm just going to tell you that. I see it here still in July. I see it all the way through December. Now, I do think it dissipates, but I do think March could bring a spike and April could bring a spike. And then May and June, it sort of dips down. But I think big pockets of society are still dealing with it. On March 20th, 2020, Mars is going to conjunct, so they're going to be like this, right? Jupiter. And it's also going to be in a wider conjunction to Pluto and Saturn. So there's lots of triggers here. And there's lots of, hot spots and triggers. And I really don't like Mars touching a whole lot of planets. I'm like, okay, it can touch Jupiter, but that's kind of it. Maybe the sun. But I really don't love it when Mars touches the moon, when Mars comes into direct alignment with the moon or with Saturn or Pluto. So that's what's happening. So I don't love it. So I'm bracing myself. When we're working with Mars, it means we have a ton of energy. So isn't it ironic? We have a ton of energy and we've got this Aries sun. This Aries sun is ruled by this Mars. We're cooped up in our houses, supposedly doing social isolation, which, by the way, I hope you are. My relationship is with you right now, virtually. This is the extent of my socializing. So thank you for being there for me. And if you want to see what your year is going to look like, go to my online scheduler. You can find it in the notes section below. Go look at the different reports that I do. You will love them. You will love my destiny report. That will show you what your year looks like. And you can order my forecast report. It says 365. So you can look at the next 365 days personally for you based on your birthday, time, and place and year, of course. 3/20/2020, it's going to be a really big day. On the 23rd, Mars comes into perfect conjunction with Pluto. Now remember, with Mars and these outer planets, you can take 5 days before or 5 days after. So this is going to fall within that window. I was pretty shocked from my Instagram videos and my YouTube videos how I gave exact dates, and how they lined up. Like I said, the 10th was going to be horrible. The 12th of January was just going to be awful. And that's the day that we got the news that the coronavirus was here. So that was really shocking to me even. I believe in this. I've been doing this for 23 years and I still get shocked. On the 23rd, I think it's a really hard day. Mars and Pluto come into an exact conjunction. And this creates, I have to be honest with you, it can create death and transformation. Now, sometimes it's a metaphoric death and sometimes it's a literal death. But there are enormous challenges to overcome on the 23rd. So if you don't have to fly, do not fly on that day. Not because I think the plane is going to crash, but I don't want somebody to be on the plane with the virus not knowing it. So really protect yourself on the 23rd. This whole second half of the month, you really need to take seriously. And it's exact on the 23rd, but again, 5 days before, 5 days after. You're going to have to tap into something that's like an extreme will inside of you, a will to live, a will to not sabotage yourself, a will to sort of hunker down and be very serious-minded. When I say a will to live, it might be that you are fighting for a will to not be defeated, right? You may feel also an overwhelming amount of aggression. You might feel and see and experience the greed of others. You might even feel like there is a power that's dominating you where you are powerless. Or you might have to become so powerful in your world to be seen and heard. So you might have to rise up, or somebody might dominate you, pick a fight with you. You might see misplaced power everywhere. And you might even see like other people being a little bit violent. And not that I think that there's going to be tremendous looting and crazy. I don't see it that way. Although that could happen. I was asked that question today. And if it is going to happen, it's probably right around this time. If you stay sane, you stay calm, you stay beautiful and in your grace, you can keep that energy out there at bay. That's not coming to get you. It's just, we might see that collectively in the world. And inside, you might just feel like you have to really fight for something, fight to be heard, fight to get a test. You might have to fight the system a little bit. And you might feel like a sense of rage. There might be like a breakout of a temper. And you might feel like you're being unfairly treated or overlooked, or that the world is too ruthless. Like, do you have a heart? Is there compassion? That's why I said earlier on the 24th, which is the day after this, you are the compassionate warrior. I cannot tell you how many compassionate warriors there are just in my neighborhood. So I live in the Seattle area, which is the epicenter. It's where no longer, I think New York has surpassed us, unfortunately, now, but Seattle is, where it started here in the United States. And this virus is on our front doorstep. It is here. It is right here. It is in our face. And we just had somebody in our community die 2 days ago, and it is sad. It is just so heartbreaking. And Kirkland's just up the street and down the road from me. What I have found is the kindest, nicest people. I have just found so many angelic souls out there that are so helpful, holding doors open for me, being sweeter to my dog, stopping to say hi, making eye contact. It's very, very sweet. That's where I feel like if collectively we really help our neighbor, we can restore the faith again. It's so important, especially on or around the 23rd. So on March 29th, we have Mars at that 29th degree. Can you believe that? So with Mars on the 29th degree, that's like your life force energy being snuffed out. So you might feel depleted. You might feel sad. You might feel like you just want to curl up in a fetal position. You might want to sleep in. I don't even know what day of the week that is, but if you can rest that day, do, so you can revitalize yourself, get a good night's sleep on March 29th, because Mars is in crisis. So the will to survive, the will to live, that life force energy is in crisis, and it's at the 29 degrees of Capricorn. So if you are a late Capricorn, this is happening right on your soul. So you need to be very, very careful. Or if you were born on the last day of Cancer, so July 20th, July 21st, this is very, very hard times for you. If you are born on the last day of Aries, right? So that's around the 20th, give or take a few days for each one of these. This is a harder time for you where you need to be careful, extra careful. And the same for Libra, if you're born on the last days of Libra. I want you to be careful, my sweet friends. On the 30th, Mars is in conjunction with Jupiter, which creates expansion. It's when things grow, when things get bigger, when things rise, when things peak, when things get animated. So if you think about Jupiter, it's 13,300 Earths glued together in size. So if there is going to be a spread or a peak, I have a feeling it's around, give or take, 5 days going forward, or 5 days after, so the 25th of March through the 5th of April, but landing on the 30th, I think it's going to expand the most at that time, or we get the highest numbers, or we get the highest death rate, or it's the biggest spread, or something. More countries, there's going to be an expansion of this virus. But in your personal life, this is when your energy can become more helpful. You might feel like you have more of a purpose. You might feel a little bit optimistic in a weird way. I know it sounds weird, like, well, the world is crumbling, right? But you might feel like, hey, I have something to offer here. Hey, I can really make use or make value of my life. You might also feel like there's a boost of energy where you have to do your life a little bit differently in a different way. And because this is oftentimes a new beginning, a new start, I would ask you to be really careful not to overdo things. And on the negative side, this is when we can be ridiculously optimistic. So don't go spending all of your money on the stocks that are now really inexpensive, right? And blowing your whole savings plan, if you will. Don't go gambling and taking giant risks, because you can be sort of blind and foolish and gullible with this transit. Please don't believe all that you hear. I want you to double and triple check your resources and sources for your news, because you could really be gullible right now. I want you to stay grounded and smart, because we can really lose ourselves in this particular transit on the 30th, okay? Also on the 30th and the 31st, Mars is going to come into conjunction with Saturn. And that's when we have this war between opposing energies. And we are being asked to be more disciplined and more reasonable and rational. Yet at the same time, we feel like we're in a pressure cooker. You also might feel like, Mars, I have all this energy, but I've been hindered in my job, or I don't have a job to go to because Saturn is hard work. So you're going to have to create a new kind of work, a new kind of job. You're going to have to find the fortitude and the tenacity and the resilience to put your energy towards something productive. Otherwise, just anger and boredom and resentment can creep in, and you can start to feel sort of revengeful. So if you channel this energy also into hard physical work or a creative project, then you can like transmute, right, this energy into positive, productive achievements. And you will feel of value. When you feel of value, you feel worthy. When you feel helpful, your life starts to feel worthwhile again. So don't just sit around and rot right now if you don't have work to go to. Figure out how you can put it online or what you can do with your energy in a really productive way. There's good news. On that 31st, on the last day of March, Mars and Saturn move out of Capricorn and into super progressive Aquarius. So I do believe that this will help us a little bit. It is the air sign of Aquarius. I don't love the air sign because this coronavirus is airborne, but I feel like when it moves out of that, last degree on the 31st, by the way, Mars and Saturn are right there moving into the Aquarius energy. And when they move into the Aquarius energy, and I believe that is on the 31st, things are going to feel chaotic. Things are going to feel like which way is up and where do I go and what do I do? And they're going to feel like they're swirling around and there's no rhyme or reason. It's erratic and sporadic and like a lightning bolt of energy and a download of massive, massive, massive amounts of energy and news. Like you are going to get hits every hour. You're going to want to watch the news, or the news is going to change every 5 minutes. And so it's going to be a little bit chaotic, but there's going to be good news. There's going to be something liberating. We're going to make advancements, but we will also have those setbacks too. We'll go into that in my next video, but there's going to be steps. There's going to be progress made, but then there is also going to be some really hard struggles at that same exact time. I do think though that we can have flashes of brilliance and we can jump into brilliant creative thinking and new ways of being when that Mars especially jumps into Aquarius. We'll also see that with Saturn and Capricorn, it's like we're mandated. We are bossed around. We're oppressed. We're feeling the oppression. And when Saturn moves into Aquarius, we sort of have to set up a virtual world for ourselves. And maybe your relationships are going to go a little bit more virtual over the computer, or you're going to do more computer work or online work, online school, have a relationship with your television. I feel like the real world is going to redefine itself when we have this Saturn and Mars in Aquarius. Your reality will reinvent itself. Life will forever redefine itself out of this moment in time. We also might find rapid fire solutions that eventually evolve us. We are learning something so important from this, and we're going to give this knowledge to our children and their children and the world after us. This is one of those times where we're really building character and strength out of enormous hardship. And none of these transits are very easy. They're really tough times. And if you want to see where yours are, you can also order a natal chart from me. And come subscribe to me, or follow me on Instagram, I should say. You can also find me on Facebook. I don't do as much astrology over there. I just do a lot of inspiration. And you can find me under Soulnavigation on Facebook, and also Soul_navigation on Instagram. But let me give you 10 things that I think could really help you with these more challenging, if you will, aspects. I feel like, we all can use sweetness right now. We can all use really lovely, lovely, sweet moments. And we need that love right now more than ever. So I took a couple notes and I have them here. I just wrote down things that I thought would be so helpful. Right now is a time, especially with this Aries new moon, to really put your energy into your family. And one thing that I'm doing, spend time with your family. It's like old-fashioned play, board games, spend your evenings together, cook dinners together, like old-fashioned fun, right? What would you do if you were camping? But for me, one thing I'm doing with my daughter is I spent many years on this and then I gave it up in like 2014, but we subscribed to Ancestry.com. And I like telling her about the stories that we find out about our ancestors and the legacy, and how it shows us how fragile and short life was and is. And it also shows us like how we got here. And there's amazing little slivers where, had this person turned left instead of right, we would have never ended up in the United States. We would have stayed back in Germany. So it's very, very interesting. And so I like to see the cast of characters that turned the fates, right, in our own life. That's kind of fun because there's a lot of life lessons when you go and research your own ancestry. And it also shows children the bigger picture of life. So Aries energy needs to move around. So my second tip is move around. You have got to make a promise to yourself that you will go for a walk every single day. I wouldn't necessarily go to the gym or work out there, work out at home, move around, lift weights, do whatever, yoga with Adriene on YouTube. But please, please, please go outside and walk. Find a secluded park. If you live in New York City, go walk around Central Park. Wear your mask if you want to. You need that fresh air. And I'm so lucky in Seattle. We have the freshest air, which is funny because it's the, epicenter, but the air here is beautiful. And I think it's because the rain creates this purity. I also want to challenge you to spend 60 minutes a day, 60 full minutes a day of doing something that will make you laugh. I don't care if it's a comedy show, watching cat videos. It doesn't matter if it's jumping on a trampoline or playing charades or I don't know, tickling your kid or playing chase or hide and seek. Again, old-fashioned fun. It doesn't matter what it is. Laughter is such a good remedy because it gives you dopamine. It creates these peptides in your body that are happy peptides, and it allows you to process the negative news so much better. It allows you happiness and joy, and laughter will help you process the negativity in such a better way. And it will help you bring joy into the world where some people don't have any. I also think this is a beautiful time to write letters. Write letters, we stopped doing that and now we have a little bit more time. So slow down, take time, write letters, go put them in the post office or the mailbox, or stay in touch with your faraway loved ones through FaceTime. The heart needs to feel the love and the connection. So instead of just text messaging your friends and family, actually FaceTime them. Make them answer that FaceTime, right? And send them little love letters in the mail. Old-fashioned fun is where it's at. All that energy in Capricorn, all those planets in Capricorn, it's like old tradition. The fastest way to feel good about yourself is helping another person feel good about them. So do feel goods for other people. When you do go to the supermarket, let the older person cut in line. Help somebody with their shopping cart, clean it off for them. Loan somebody your hand sanitizer. Tell the checkout clerk how incredible they are, boots on the ground, frontlining it, right? Like my checkout counter guy at my store, his name is Alex. By the way, I told him, I was like, I hope you run for president because I'm voting for you. He is the most competent man and he is boots on the ground. And I love that man. He doesn't even know I do this, so he will never see this. But if there's 12 different checkers, I'll stand in a longer line for him because he is such a good person and he makes every single person who goes through his line have a better day. Oh, it almost makes me cry. If you're a checker at a store, please leave me a comment below. And just know that you're like on the front lines and we appreciate you. The next thing I want you to do, this is tip number 6, is I want you to do a body scan at night, especially on the new moon on the 24th. I want you to do a download of a body scan where you invite the white healing light into your crown chakra, right? And then I want you to see, I got full body chills. Did you get chills? Oh my God, I got chills so bad. And then you're going to I got chills so bad. Right? I can't even pretend to do this because it's just so for real. I hope I don't have a fever because I've got chills doing this so bad. So you open up your chakra and then you're going to see this golden white sparkly light fill up your body, and you're going to go way slower than this. You're going to fill it up down to your toes. And then once you get to your toes, you're going to let the energy shoot out from your feet. And this is a healing light, and you're going to stick this light into the fingertips, into your wrists. You're going to let it swirl around in your body. And then you're going to meditate and you're going to visualize that your body is filled with millions and millions and millions of healthy cells. And that the healthy cells are strong enough to just swat like a little nothing, the unhealthy cells that find you. And that you are in perfect health. And you are going to do this beautiful body scan every night in March. This is going to help you have sweeter dreams. I don't know about you, but the last 3 nights, I've barely been able to sleep. And I've had so much anxiety that I've woken up and I've done this body scan and it's put me to sleep. If you can do it listening to music, it will heighten it for you. So I really recommend that. Number 7, I want you to get rid of everything toxic in your life right now. Everything toxic. Please, 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 including people. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't know. If you have a cat box that has not been emptied when it should have, you go empty that thing right now. Go on a purifying binge right now. Really invest in your life and space, purifying the energy everywhere. Clean, 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 clean. It will feel so good. Spend a longer time cleaning your own body even. I have a face ritual, a body ritual. Purge the toxic things out of your life and do not be around negative people. Number 8 is, denial is a killer. And there's so many people. It's crazy how this thing is literally, it's on our doorstep and there are so many people in denial. I'm like, are you living in reality? Do you read anything? Do you talk to people? They are in such denial that this is even going on and they think this is going away. People, this is not going away. This is going to be here until at least December 20th. Now, I do think it's going to spike and go down and become manageable. But I think right now, at these dates that I have given you in March, at the end of March here until April 5th, we are in a giant spike. And then I'll look at what April's going to bring to us. But I think March and April are going to be the peak points. Stay grounded and strong and get your information. At least be dialed into the news for at least 30 minutes a day, okay? And really know if you're into real news sources or if you're just reading fake news. God, I don't want you to read the hysterical fake news. That'll do more damage than good. But I do want you to be in the know, because if you're not in the know, at least at your local community, know what's going on in your local community with your local restaurants, and support small businesses if you're capable of it. I work for myself too, and small businesses are really fragile. My tip number 9, it kind of goes back to the tip that I was talking about. I want you to really invest in creating a super cozy house for yourself right now. Make your sanctuary, make your nest. If you did not watch my Pisces in Love video, go watch my Pisces in Love video, because I talk about how you can get into a liquid state. And it's like, allow yourself to have the coziest, most beautiful, I spent time on my living room today, the coziest, most lovely, clean, beautiful, warm, and cozy nest for you. So you like being at home. Don't let it get jam-packed filled with clutter. If you've got clutter all around you, it is going to create chaos inside of you. Heighten your senses. You want to have yummy foods. You want to have feel-good blankets. You want to have nice candle scents. You want things that smell good, feel good, taste good, touch. All the senses should come alive. Build your sanctuary so you want to be at home. My tip number 10, I don't know if you can do this, and if anybody does do this, I want you to let me know. Oh, she came at the perfect time. Is get a pet, right? Get a pet. If you don't have a pet, go get a pet. Pets are so wonderful and so healing and so nurturing. So go get a pet and nurture it and love it. Okay, until I see you again, take good care. And I look forward to seeing you here on Sundays at 9:30 with Soul Navigation.